Hello, welcome to the Feel Good Factor. I'm Susmita Veganosaurus, and I'm so glad you're here today. This is a podcast about joy, fulfillment, well being, mindfulness for small business owners, creative entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and, well, generally tips on life. If you enjoyed this episode, then you're going to really like my free newsletter, The Feel Good Tribe. Go to veganosaurus.com/newsletter to sign up. I send out emails once or twice a month. They're story based and conversational and loaded with lots of tips and guidance and recommendations. All right, on to today's episode. There's a quote by Rumi. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. There is something that calls to all of us. Every single one of us has certain interests. We're attracted to certain skills, to learn some things, to do certain things. And it feels very natural and normal to us. But others may not actually be pulled by the same thing. They may not have the same kind of a calling. I don't believe that every single person has one single calling. We have many. So I don't like to use that word calling in the traditional sense of, yes, you're meant to do this one thing throughout your life, do it. That's why Rumi calls it a strange pull, right? Because you can't quite explain that pull. There is an attraction. You feel a sense of fulfillment and flow. Time slows down when you're involved in these activities that you love being involved in, love putting yourself in these situations. But then we can't always do only what we love all the time. That's not practical. There's a very stupid, in my opinion, stupid, saying that's like, do what you love, find a job that you love, and you'll never work a single day in your life. And that's absolute bull. Well, here's the thing, if you spend your day doing the thing that you love, say it's an art or it's your side business, whatever, then unfortunately, if that becomes your only source of income, you will become desperate. The energy is one of desperation. You'll have to sell it, whatever it is you're doing, right? And say it's not a side business or it's not an art, becoming an artist and things like that. Say it is a regular job. Finding a job that you love, then again it'll possibly eat you up because you'll be overcommitted. You become a workaholic even. So there is Andrea Nunes says something very clever in this article. She says, treat your main job as a silent investor towards your business, small business, or your art, or something like that. This doesn't mean you have to go, get a corporate job or anything like that. The idea is sometimes we have to do things that we don't really enjoy or love. Many times we need to do these things. But if we treat that as something that feeds into what we do love, I'm going to work all day doing this hard thing, this maybe boring thing. But then at the end of the day, I get back home and I get to do my art, I get to do my teaching, I get to run my podcast. When you have that mindset, then first of all, your main thing that you do to earn a living, pay the rent, get your food, whatever, the main thing that you do, it doesn't become so difficult anymore, in the sense of that is not your whole life. You're looking forward to something else later on, in the other part of your day, in the weekends, or during your other holidays, whenever you're looking forward to something else. So this main work, it releases the pressure of doing your other work, because the other work becomes more enjoyable. It's not something that you have to do, you have to sell and you have to earn money out of it to support yourself. You don't have to do that anymore, right? So then the main job, you start liking it a little bit more, because you know that this is what is making the other thing possible. And you start drawing more boundaries, because you're fulfilled from this other thing that you're doing that you love. So that fulfillment stops you from just making your work your entire life. The term work life balance is a very flawed way of thinking. It's a wrong term, because it's not that your work is half your life and your life is half your rest of your life is half your life. That is wrong. That is not true. Work is one part, one portion, one slice of the pie of your entire life. You have other areas of life that also take up, share space equally, possibly, different areas of life. So you start treating your work as the one slice of pie, because it's not the thing you're depending on to feed your fulfillment or happiness. It is only to earn you money. You get your fulfillment, happiness, joy, becoming a better person, your inspiration, motivation, your relaxation, all of it from other things in your life. Say you don't have any interest in art, or you don't really want to run a small business or anything like that. Even so, this principle can be used in your work. What is it you love? What is it you're good at, right? What is it that lights you up? It doesn't have to be a specific thing, like I writing lights me up, writing a book lights me up, or painting lights me up. It doesn't have to be specific either. What are you good at? Yes, I'm good at writing. But if I'm good at writing, I don't have to write a book and publish it necessarily. What I can do is use that skill and the joy of writing and use that in the regular day job, what I'm doing. I'm great at teaching. So, great. If you're great at teaching, you don't have to go and separately create courses and whatnot. You can get your sense of fulfillment doing what you're good at, doing what brings you joy, which fills you up, as a part of your work. So, in your day job, find roles, find opportunities to do the thing that you love. The thing that you love doesn't have to look only one. It can look, it can be different things. The way it appears is in different forms. It doesn't have to take only one particular form. And say your business, your small business, is your entire life, is your work. Let's say that's happening, right? You're an entrepreneur. Your business is your life, it's your work. You started this business because you are passionate about it, about a cause. And say, I know a lot of vegan entrepreneurs, and they run their vegan business purely out of passion, because they want to do something in the vegan movement, right? They want to work in that. Fine, they're already in it. You already have your business, you've invested in it, and you've put your time in it, and your life is built around that business now. Even there, see, after a point, if you are passionate about something and you're struggling to make that thing survive and grow, then that joy of it reduces a bit, the love reduces a bit. In that case, what you can do is, what are the things that you enjoy most? What do you love to do most? Include that as a part of your life. When I used to run my vegan restaurant, Initially, I was like, wow, this is the best job in the world. And I love talking to people. I love cooking. I love coming up with these recipes. I love, and then I also learned, okay, the newer skills that I developed, leading a team, how to make everybody, have create this beautiful atmosphere at the restaurant. The new skills that I picked up also. But over time, the business became a struggle because we were trying to make something succeed at a time when it was well ahead of its curve. The whole concept of veganism was way too early. 2013, people didn't know what vegan was. So, not only did we have to run a business, make delicious food, feed it to people, have a beautiful atmosphere, blah, 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 we also had to create an awareness. We had to educate people and then get them to come and try the food. We had to make sure people knew that vegan food is delicious, it's tasty, it's so good and interesting. So it was a lot of work, and it was a very uphill climb, and it became quite hard for the first few years. We struggled quite a bit to keep running this business, but we were determined that no matter what, we have to make this business go on, make an impact on the vegan movement in the country, by through food, through the food that we cook and serve, through our brand, create an awareness across the country, the globe, and everything. As the struggle started, the love for all the things I was doing faded. Because you come from this place of desperation, not inspiration, when you're like, okay, no matter what, you're doing it now to please people, to make money, to survive. And that becomes difficult, to pay your team a good salary, right, to keep them motivated. All of that, if that is the priority and not the creativity and the joy and the love and the community, if this becomes a priority, it's difficult. It took me a while. Then I changed the way I worked. I shifted my mindset. I've spoken a lot about, how I set boundaries, how I took care of myself, and how that affected the business. All of that I've spoken in the earliest episodes of this podcast. I've spoken about all of that. But also, importantly, I started including other things that I love as a part of the restaurant business. Okay, I go in by noon, sometimes earlier, and stay till 11 o'clock in the night, stay till late night. Many days were like this. So I'm like, if I'm practically living there at the restaurant, how do I bring my other interests into this part of my life? It started with I make jewelry and miniatures and stuff with clay. It started with that. I started taking a suitcase full of my tools and materials and stuff to the restaurant, and whenever I had time, I would sit and work on this stuff. I would take time to do that during the break time and stuff like that. And I started also selling that stuff at the restaurant, but more as a part of the business itself. I made things to put on the restaurant, like the restaurant was called Carrots, and I made a clay sculpture of carrots, like the word carrots, and put that on our glass wall, I mean glass door, things like that. I would make some small piece of jewelry and stuff and give it to my team. I started finding joy in that. Then the other thing that I also loved is meditation and spirituality and stuff like that, which again I didn't have time to practice it in the sense of teach it and all the things that I love doing. So I included that as a part of the business. I started organizing events where we would have food from the restaurant, but also this meditation and stuff like that, or manifestation workshops and things like that. That again started lighting me up. I started feeling grateful, because I had already developed a small resentment to the business for taking over my life. But then I started becoming grateful that I have this place, this team, uh, where I can actually use all this stuff that we have to do these other events and classes and stuff like that, pop-ups and things like that, which brought me joy and filled me with enthusiasm. So, if you already run a business and you feel like it's taking up too much of your life, eating up, your identity, then see what you can bring into that business, what interests you can bring into that business. Include it as a part of it so that then you feel more grateful for the business itself, for supporting those other things that you get to do. So, make it a point to do this, even if not every single day, at least once a week, twice a month, maybe something like that. See how you can bring that into your business, your other creative things that you love to do. I promise you it's going to make a difference in your energy, the way you feel about your business, and also the energy of the business itself. It doesn't become this looming thing that you're trying to struggle and survive and make and grow. It doesn't become the only thing in your life that matters, because you're going to include other things that matter as a part of that business. So once again, before I close, I want to read out the quote by Rumi for you. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. All right, thank you so much for listening. This is the Feel Good Factor. I'm Susmita Veganosaurus. I look forward to talking to you again next week. Remember to sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the show notes. Take care. Bye.